if you have ever wondered how to get the film look on your photos, or if you want the film look on all your pictures, whether it be wedding or portrait, but you don't have a film camera, but you know there's some way you can get that film look, well, I got the solution for you, and it's called Dehancer. Dehancer is a plugin that's available for all the major platforms: Lightroom, Photoshop, Capture One, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere. And it's a film emulation software that's going to help you get the film look that you want on all your images. I did a video about Dehancer before in the past for Final Cut Pro, and now I'm about to show you a video about Dehancer as far as Lightroom Classic goes. So shout out to Dehancer for, they're not sponsoring this video, but they did give me a code to give to you, which I'll put down in the description below. It's to get you 10% off of your Dehancer purchase. So without further ado, let's jump into Lightroom and show you what Dehancer can do. So here in Lightroom, I just have a couple images selected, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to get this film look on your picture. So this is some images that I got from a style shoot a couple weeks ago. And once you download Dehancer and import it into Lightroom Classic, I guess I'll show you how to do that real quick. So in order to get Dehancer into your Lightroom, you're going to go to Lightroom Classic, and this is if you're on a Mac. If you're on PC, it's a little bit different. If you're on a Mac, you're going to go to Lightroom Classic, and you're going to go to Preferences, and down here where it says Additional External Editor, you're going to go to Choose, and then once you do Choose, your box is going to pop up, and then you're basically just going to go down and select Dehancer plugin, and that's how you're going to get Lightroom, or get Dehancer into your Lightroom. And then once that is in, what you're going to do is you're going to get a photo, and so this picture is already edited, as you can see. So I'm going to right click this, and I'm going to go to Edit In, and then I'm going to choose Dehancer Lightroom plugin. And you're going to want to edit a copy because you want to keep the original. I would rather do this because if you do a bunch of adjustments on original image and then you find out you don't like it, or the client doesn't like it, at least you have the original to go back to. So you say, hey, this is what it is, instead of having to start all over editing from scratch. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring up this separate window. And now this is what Dehancer is going to look like. Now this is just a trial version that they gave me to show to you. So this is not the full license yet, but what you're going to see on the left hand side, you're going to see different film profiles, and you can create presets. And presets are just like you would do in Lightroom Classic. You would go in, create, change what you want to change, and then kind of set that as a preset. But you have your film types, you have your color negative, you have your motion picture, color positive, black and white, instant, and exotic, cross. So you got a bunch of different film types to choose from. And then from your profile, you see a bunch of different film profiles for you to choose from. Kodak Portra 800, Portra 400. You got Fujifilm. You got Instax somewhere, I believe. Somewhere, I can't find it right now. But you have Cinestel. You got a bunch of different profiles to choose from, and that can be your base. So I think, Kodak Portra 400 seems to be the most popular. So I'm going to choose that as my base. And then once I do that, it's going to give you the base look, or how it's going to start out. And down here, you can get different images, or you can say, hey, this is, or it's telling you what it's going to look like as your base. So Kodak Portra 400, actually, I don't like for this one. So I'm going to switch it. I think this is probably going to give me the most natural look, maybe? No? Okay, let's just stick with Kodak Portra 400 for the sake of the video. And now that we got our base, now we can come over to the right side. So this side is where you're going to make all your changes to your image. You have your exposure conversation, you have your film developer, compression, yada yada. So we're going to go down each one, and I'm going to show you what each one does. Well, kind of. So exposure conversation, make the image brighter, make the image darker. That's pretty much self-explanatory. It's a little bit too bright, so I'm going to bring that down about negative. Yeah, that's fine. Temperature compensation is right. To the right is going to be warm. To the left is going to be cold. I like my photos warm, but this is a little bit too warm, so I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. And I'm not going to do any of the tint. Tint will be, to the right will be red, to the left will be green, kind of like your same thing with Lightroom. And so with the film developer, you can toggle this on if you want. This is just going to boost contrast and boost color. I'm not going to do anything with that, but you have all this stuff available in each little piece, or each little section is going to do something different. So personally, what I would do is I would go down to the profile print. You can choose between linear, cine film log, Kodak, or Endura glossy paper. And this one looks good, and I think I want to play with the other options just to see what's going to happen. That one gives you a log look. So if you were doing like you wanted a flat profile to choose from, or if you're doing video and you have this plugin for Final Cut Pro, you can choose that Cine on Film log look, and then you can have that flat image to work with, and then kind of add your colors into there. This is the glossy paper look. This one gives a little bit more punch, which I like, for especially for this picture. So I'm going to keep it on this glossy paper. So this color head option, this is going to be where you can slide in to the left is going to be yellow, right is blue, left is magenta, right is green, and cyan and red. So you can play with these colors all at once, each individually. So if I wanted to slide in blue in there, I could, or if I wanted to bring it back to yellow, I could. Now I'm going to leave this at 0, but if I wanted to change all the colors or all the sliders at once, I can do that as well. I'm just gonna hit gang. My fault. Just hit gang, and then as I slide, everything is going to slide with me. So you can just do a group move like that if you want. Typically, this is what I do, move them as a group, so I can still get some interesting edits or interesting colors, but maintaining the integrity of the initial image. So the shadows tone, remember, like I said, to the right is going to be your warmth, to the left is going to be cool. I'm not going to do anything with that because I like the warmth that it already has right now. So film grain, this is what it sounds like, is adding grain to your image. You have a few different options to choose from. 8mm, can I not see my R's? Do I have a speech impediment? 8mm ISO 50, 16, 35, 65. This is completely up to you, and it's going to be completely up to taste. I think, you know, I might be able to just keep it as it is, but I like some grain on the film, but I don't like it to where it's so grainy that it, you know, kind of ruins or cooks the picture. So yeah, and then halation. So halation is when the visual effect that occurs when a bright light sources cause a glowing or halo-like effect around in the highlights. So it's, I guess it would be similar to like a black mist filter if you want to add some halation to that. And like I said, that's going to be up to taste as well. Typically, I don't do any halation. I just do bloom, but yeah, because that's a little bit much. So we're going to take the halation off. But I do like to do bloom because I do like I like a softer look on my images, and I like it when it kind of looks more dreamy, if you will. So I'll always do bloom on my images when I do my film emulation and stuff like that. And then film damage. I think film damage is always interesting, just because if you remember in the old school film, when you looked at the film strips or looked at the old Polaroids, there would be like little lines and stuff through it, and it just makes it look more authentic. Now, obviously, a film emulation software is still a digitalized film, so it's not going to give you the exact look that a film camera would give you. So if you want the exact look a film camera gives, you're better off buying a film camera. But if you want a filmic look that is going to get close to what a film camera is going to give you, then you can do that with Dehancer. And overscan is like, I would just show you it. I would try to explain it to you, but yeah. So this is going to give you like that creative look on your images to where there's barriers and stuff like that. I personally don't use overscan. I feel like it for video, I think it's cool, but for pictures, I just think it's a little much. And then vignette is what it sounds like. Vignette is just the dark around the edges. And again, that's going to be personal preference. So yeah, this is essentially how you would edit a picture in the enhancer, and you click OK. After you click OK, it's going to take us back to Lightroom, and then as you see, you have your original here, and then you have your film edit here. So it's always good to edit a copy just so you have both, so that if you want to deliver both to your client and say, hey, here's a film look and then here's the actual look, you can do that. Now this picture was edited, so what about editing a raw image? So this is a raw image, something that hasn't been touched yet on the slider. So as you can see, it's slightly underexposed. And if you want to see the edited picture of this one, this is how the edited one looks. But we're going to focus on the raw image here. So like I said, same thing, right click, and then we're going to go to edit in, and then we're going to edit in the enhancer. We're going to edit a copy, and it's going to prepare that file for editing. And then now that we have this picture in our editing software, the enhancer, now we're just going to go through and choose what preset or what style is going to work for us that we want to start from. I like the Fujifilm Instax look, but I also like that black and white down here as well. Obviously, like I said multiple times, this is going to be up to personal preference of what you want to do. So I like this black and white. I like this Fujifilm Neopan. And then, so once you choose what profile that you want, like I said, you come over to the right side and you're going to play with what you want to play with, up to your personal taste. But the fact that it gives you all these abilities to work with within the software, to edit the way you want to edit, and to get the look as accurate and as precise as you want, you know, that's going to be, you know, beneficial. So I'm gonna change this from the glossy paper to the print film, and then I'm going to, let's see, it's black and white, so the color head is not going to really matter. But what I want to do is I'm gonna change the exposure compensation. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. And the thing about, actually, no, I'm not. Whoa. That's going to be blown out. I'm actually going to take that down a little bit because the highlights are kind of blown, just because she was in the shade, but the background wasn't. So that's going to be kind of difficult to edit a picture like that. But I feel like taking the exposure down a little bit, you still see detail in the highlights, detail in the shadows, and detail where the subject is. So that's still going to be good enough. So if I was to do this film developer here and I was to do this, let's see, let's do like a contrast boost. And contrast is what it sounds like. It's the difference between brights and darks. So this is just going to darken the blacks and brighten the whites. And if I bring it all the way up, it might look, yeah. So it's going to look very dramatic if I do that. So be careful playing with these sliders, because a lot of the times less is more when it comes to these things. And so if you try to do a little bit too much on these sliders, you're going to end up cooking your image. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So yeah, impact is, that's going to be the intensity of the film compression of the image. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of options to choose from the enhancer. And I know a lot of people in the photography space, whether it be portrait photography, whether it be wedding photography, especially weddings, when they'll say, hey, you'll get 15 film images from your wedding day. I know some people who have sold packages saying like, hey, you get 15 film images with your package, and they completely forgot to take the film images. And they're like, well, what do I do? Something like this is going to make it seem like you actually took those film images. Because don't be unethical with it, but if you are in a pinch and you realize you forgot something, this software is going to give you the ability to still produce those film images that you promised without you know, causing a ruckus, saying like, hey, I forgot to do this, you know, then you got, you know, refunds and stuff like that. You don't want to deal with that. So don't abuse it, but it is a good option if worst comes to worst. And if a client asks for film images, if they don't have a film camera, chances are they're not really going to know the difference between a real film camera and film emulation. So, and then say you made it to this point in the editing process and you made all the changes that you want here, and now you want to save it as a preset because you want to be able to come back to that. You'll be able to hit presets here, and then you'll be able to hit the plus, and then you'll be able to name this new preset Author Slim. That's me. And so you can add presets that way. Super easy, super fun. You can also import presets and export presets if you want to, say, create digital product and sell these film-like presets. You can export them, or if you want to import them because somebody's selling Dehancer film presets, you can do that as well. So with that being said, that is the Dehancer Lightroom plugin for you. I think it's super beneficial if you want to get that film look and you don't want to invest in a film camera, because in reality, film is expensive. Buying all these rolls, making sure you keep them, temperature proof, or refrigerate them, or make sure you don't keep them. There's a lot that goes into having an actual film camera. So if you just want a software to do it for you, Dehancer is a great way to go. So like I said, there is a link down in the description below to get your Dehancer plugin, and there is a code to get you 10% off as well. So run, don't walk to Dehancer.com to get your new plugin for whatever software you're using, whether it be Lightroom, Final Cut Pro, Capture One, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, After Effects, all those. So it's compatible with all the major platforms. So with that being said, if this video was of some value to you, you learned something, and something made you want to get Dehancer, like I said, description down below, use my code, 10% off. That's all I got for you today. Until next time, like, subscribe, peace.